Hey everybody, it's your girl Success. Morning, it's Sunday and it's raining outside, so I'm not outside doing this recording today. I'm supposed to be talking about the book, but to be honest, let's just keep it real. It's just one of those mornings. I am drained. I'm not really sure why. I think I got enough sleep, but maybe not. Anyway, just because I'm in this mode, and I was just on my knees praying, and I'm just like, I'm having that moment where I'm like, God, I really don't want to do a video today. I'm really not in the mood. I feel as though people need to see me when I'm chipper all the time, but that's just not how life is. And if we want to keep it real, then, there's just going to be times when you're not going to feel like doing either what you're called to do or what you promised to do or what is expected of you on a particular day or a particular moment. And so here I am doing a video. Is it going to be about the book? Let's just talk about life. Let's just talk about life and how even in relationships we get to places or times in our lives, seasons in our lives when we're just not feeling it. We're just not motivated, or we just don't have the energy to do what is expected of us. So that can relate to situations, it could relate to relationships, it could relate to work, it can relate to ministry. I mean, it's just life. You may feel like you just aren't feeling it, kind of like right now. And so I was having this little discussion with the Lord, and I was like, I'm really not feeling it, Lord. And what I got back was, it's not about what you feel. It's about what you're called to do. I was like, okay. And so what I was reminded of just now when I was praying is that he gave me the example of Jesus. He's like, he gave me the example of Jesus, in the Garden of Gethsemane, knowing what's about to happen, knowing that he's about to be betrayed by Judas into the hands of the enemy. And the Bible talks about how he left two of his disciples to go pray. He said, stand watch. And he went to go pray in the garden. When he came back, they were asleep. And he was like, you mean you guys can't even stay awake, while I go do this? Of course, I'm paraphrasing. And then he went back again. And the Bible talks about, because he was praying, he was, talking to his God, God, his Father, about what was about to happen. Can you imagine knowing what you were born to do, which is to die, and getting to that place after all those years of knowing this? It's in your mind. You're like, okay, I got this. And then getting to that time when it's about that time when you have to lay down your life, and it's like, but I'm really not feeling this. So it's kind of like he was showing me that there are times in our lives and seasons and situations and jobs, whatever, and we just aren't feeling it. We aren't feeling it. And we'll, have this conversation with ourselves. We have conversations with other people. We might even have conversations with God in our prayer life. And we're just like, but God, even you might be talking to a friend of ours about something that we might be going through in a relationship, and we will talk to a close friend and we'll be like, but I'm really not feeling her, or I'm really not feeling him, or I'm really not feeling this. Do you know what they did to me? Do you know how I got passed over for this promotion? Do you know how I have slaved for this job? Do you know how I put in my time? Do you know how I have forgiven my husband or my wife? How many times I've forgiven them? How many times they've hurt me? How they have abused me? How they have cheated on me? How many times they've cheated on me? How they just are irresponsible? How they're insensitive? Do you understand, what you're asking me to do here? You're asking me to continue in this mess. You're asking me to continue with this pain, this hurt. You're asking me to continue with this frustration in my job where, I mean, really? And, I was just getting the different scenarios that occur in life. And he brought it right back to Jesus in the Garden of Gethsemane. He's like, Jesus could simply have said, picture this, right? So in my mind, I'm picturing Jesus like having this conversation with his father, right? Like, God, look, like, really? Like, yo, dog. No, seriously, no. Like, no, for real. Really? Really? Do you understand what these people have done to me? You know what they've done to me. You know how they have, ridiculed me. They have laughed at me. Oh, right. Isn't he the carpenter's son? Who is he? He's not the Messiah. The Messiah is not supposed to look like that. The Messiah wasn't supposed to come out of here, or, really? God, like, do you know how they just have no respect for me? They have no respect for my authority. Do you realize, I know you realize, but do you remember, God, how, they cheated on you? They cheated on me by having these idols that they worship. And, they actually like bold enough to pray to these idols that have no life, and knowing that you're God and knowing that I'm your son. Really, God, you really want me to now go and die, suffer this pain? There ain't no morphine, ibuprofen, acetaminophen, Tylenol. Some drugs I could take. Can I do all that so I don't have to actually feel the pain that I'm about to experience for these people? Or, can I get some kind of help here? That's what I was imagining the conversation was like. It's kind of like, sometimes we might go to God and we complain or we murmur, or we are just sharing our hearts with him about what we're going through and what, what we know is about to happen, or what we see happening that we can't control. We can't control because we can't control people. We can try, but at the end of it, they actually have to choose to do what we tell them to do. So I'm having this conversation just now with the Lord, and I'm not even just having a conversation, but he's showing me this, and I'm just like, okay, God, okay. Again, so it's not about what we feel. It's not about what Jesus was feeling, because Jesus, yes, he was, God in the flesh, but he also was human. And so he felt. And so did he have feelings that, these people were hurting him, cheating on him, disrespecting him, the whole nine? Now he has to go and die for them. So he's having, so he's in the garden, and at the end of the day, he's like, you know what, God, nevertheless, your will be done. I've had a lot of nevertheless moments in my life, and in my journey of trying to become the woman that God has called me to be, in my journey towards him restoring me unto righteousness, in my journey to trying to live a holy life, in my journey, just to trying to be a good vessel. You hear people a lot of the time say, but I'm a good person. Okay. So you also hear people say, well, or people act like they're more holier than the next person, or they're more righteous than the next person. But at the end of the day, it's a process, and none of us have arrived to the place where we're all that, And so it's, like I said, it's a process. And so, it's sometimes it's a struggle in this process, and sometimes it's smooth sailing. That's just the way it is because of the things that happen in life. That's just the way it is. But, again, our feelings, and we had talked about this a couple weeks back when I was in my feelings. Our feelings they're real to us. And if you are out here right now experiencing anything similar to what I'm feeling right now, where I'm just blah this morning, I'm blah, I need some energy, I'm going to get it. I'm not going to use, some caffeine to do it, but I found that a lot of the times when I need the energy and I don't have it, I don't even have, the energy to take a next step. That's where I'll pray, and I'm like, God, I need you to step in. I need the Holy Spirit to give me the energy, or just to take over. I need you to take over in this day or moment or whatever it might be, because if it ain't for you, it's just not going to happen. And there are a lot of times as either teachers or ministers, preachers, pastors, leaders, you have a job to do and you're not in the mood. Sometimes your family members or something may have occurred right before it is time for you to speak. I've experienced that. You might have gotten cussed out. You might have gotten abused by someone, even your significant other, and you are still expected to either carry on with the mission, or I don't want to say perform, because it's not about that. And then again, it just depends on what it is you're doing. It could be a task where you have to perform. It could be a task where you just have to speak. It could be a task where you have to minister, whatever that task is. But right before, because the enemy loves messing with us, but right before it's time for you to do this, something happens and you are just not feeling it at all. But again, like I wasn't feeling it to make this video. At the end of the day, when you're called, it's not about what you feel. It wasn't about what Jesus was feeling in that moment. The Bible says that his tears were like drops of blood. I mean, seriously, that's some thick stuff. So, you know, sometimes we labor with our emotions. We labor not with the task itself, but we labor with the feelings that happen that are associated with the task. We are labored with what, you know, we're feeling internally that we have to work through, because we have to then do out of what we're feeling. And that is hard. I'm not even going to front. I'm not going to lie. And that comes around as well with relationships. Sometimes you are resenting that person. Sometimes that person really has, I mean, you have taken and you have taken and you have taken and you have taken and you have taken, you know, and you now have to demonstrate, or I would say demonstrate love, but you also have to now communicate with that person still. You have to get up every day and show love to that person. And it's out of, and I mean, it's tough, and it's out of these feelings again, or this, yeah, feelings, no other way to call it, but you have to now operate out of these feelings in a way that is not hurtful, in a way that is still loving to this person. I've had that experience. And I have to say that it's not always something that you can readily do, something that you can easily do. However, this is a time when you have to pray, you have to seek God, you have to, some relationships had me on my knees, on my face, prostrate before the Lord, all the time, because of the situation, because of, you know, the person, because of the dynamics within the relationship. Some people, some spouses, some significant others will keep you on your knees. They will keep you seeking the Lord. And again, God allows things, people, situations to come into your life. I'm not saying that he causes them. I'm saying that he allows it, and he allows it for a reason. And a lot of the times, hopefully, a lot of times it's a test. God tests, the enemy tempts us. So there's temptation and then there's testing. So you got to know the difference when you're going through some stuff. So, you know, God will allow us to be tested. What is he allowing to be tested exactly? He's allowing our commitment to each other. He's testing our commitment to him and to what we vowed to him. He's testing, you know, are we really as holy as we think we are? Are we really as righteous as we say we are? You know, been there, I've experienced that. I mean, sometimes we hold our significant others accountable and, you know, in a position that, you know, they hurt me. You've done me wrong. You still are doing me wrong. You know, we do that. We hold them in that position. But at the end of the day, we're looking at ourselves and saying, well, you know what? I never cheated on you. I never was irresponsible with money. I never, you know, I never dishonored you in any way. You know, we look at ourselves, been there, done that. And, we feel as though because we didn't do what they did to us, that we're good, that we're safe, that we are still righteous or holy or good. But the reality is, you might not, or I might not have done what they have done. However, we're not good either. We are not always right either. And let's just say this, let's go a step further. So we haven't done it to them, but have we done it to someone else? Are we doing it to God? Are we disrespecting the commitment or the vows that we made to him? Did they disrespect us and our commitment to them? Sure. But now, are you now disrespecting your commitment and your vows to God? Or are you doing something disrespectful or disloyal, or you're not following through on something that you were supposed to be doing? So really in hindsight, you're both wrong. So we don't get the right, we don't have the right to point a finger at our spouses, our significant others, or people within our relationships that we're in. We don't have the right to point our fingers at any of them, because at some point in time, and maybe you haven't done it yet, but you know what? There will come a time when you might. And guess what? You're going to need forgiveness. You are going to need the same forgiveness that your significant other is needing from you right now. I'm just saying. So again, it's not about what we feel when we are called to do something. Granted, I'm not saying that I don't care what you feel. And you'll hear people say that all the time. I don't care what you've been through. I don't care. No, I cannot stand when people say that, because what you feel is valid. So it's not that, and I don't believe they mean that they don't care. It's not that they or we don't care what you feel. It's that, yes, what you feel is real. However, you have to get beyond what it is you are feeling. Some people take longer than others. You have to get beyond that and get to a place where you can let it go. You can forgive, whatever the scenario is. You can overcome whatever word you want to throw in there. But you have to get to that place. So if it's someone hurt you, someone abused you, someone lied on you, someone cheated on you, someone disrespected you, this is all the things that happened to Jesus, right? So even if all of these things have happened to you, you have to, when you're called, when you've made a vow, when you've made a commitment, yes, God, I hear you. You have got to get past what has happened to you. And you have to have this nevertheless attitude. Nevertheless, your will be done, God, for those who believe. For those who don't believe, you still have to get to that place of, nevertheless, I'm not perfect. No, I haven't done the same things. However, I'm still not perfect. So even in the fact, in my eyes, I might think that I'm good. Guess what? There are people watching you, and even God is keeping you accountable to, are you really good? So yeah, we have people out there who are striving to be righteous, striving to be holy, striving to be good, and that hopefully that's what we are all trying to do. But I just want to encourage you today that even if you get to moments like I might be having, a blah moment where, I'm just not feeling it today. I'm just not feeling it, But even in speaking right now, I'm actually feeling a lot better. But you might get to that place where you're just not feeling it with your spouse, with your significant other, with your job, with your family member, even with your life status. You might not be feeling it. But if you have a vision of where God has called you to go, who God has called you to be, then hold on to that vision and know that it's really not about you. At the end of the day, again, like I said last week, what we've experienced, what we go through is really not about us, but it's really about someone else. So if you're in that blah moment, kind of like I was hesitating this morning and I'm not feeling it, it's really not about me. And I'm praying and hoping that the fact that I pressed through what I was feeling this morning to make this video, I'm praying and hoping that it was a blessing to somebody out there who might be going through. And again, just remember that your feelings are valid. What you're going through is your experience. It is your reality, regardless of if people see it or not, regardless of if the person that you're in this situation with understands it or not, sees it or not, agrees with it or not. It is still your reality. And the whole thing with the vows is coming back to my mind, in that, you know, when we make a promise or commitment or a vow, again, unfortunately, and I am not perfect at this. I've messed up vows. I've not followed through on vows. But again, the reminder I got this morning was that when you do that, it's not about what you feel. Yes, you feel it. But at the end of the day, you have to have a nevertheless attitude that, you know what? I said this. I said I was going to do this. I made a vow that I was going to do this. I made a commitment that I was going to do this. And here's the thing. We have a choice. We have a choice. We can either turn things around and go back to working on following through with the commitment or the vows or the promises that we made or the calling that's on our lives, or we can choose not to. And again, that is an individual process. It's an individual decision, and it changes from situation to situation. It changes from relationship to relationship. It changes from job to job. A lot of it depends on where you are. A lot of it depends on what you've been through, what you feel as though you can endure further. So praying for, longevity to, in the relationship, praying to be long suffering with someone who is, just flat out nasty, rude, just not treating you right, or that's in jobs or relationships likewise. It's not easy. It's not easy. And again, part of this whole forgiveness and letting go is that you actually have to want it. It is a mindset. If you don't want to let something go, you're not going to let it go. It's just plain and simple. So hopefully you guys have been blessed by this. I'm going to get ready to go out in this rain and drive to church and just get my fill of what I need in order for me to, continue my day, continue this week. So until next time, it's your girl Success. God bless.